So how I would do it is I use the OpenFX Lens Flare effect in DaVinci Resolve, which creates this lens flare. There's a couple different lens flare options that you can pick depending on what you want to do. And then you sort of pick, like obviously this is the source mask, but I just want the effect alone because I want to show it to you. And then you can sort of mask the light and stuff like that, determine how much power you want, and then you can basically move it around like this, depending on, where it is in the light source to the one light source I have in this video. And then you can obviously move it up and down. It creates the parallel, and obviously you can then keyframe it over here so that you can actually control it and track it whatever you want, or apply a track to it. You have a bunch of global corrections here, so like scaling, how bright you want it, how much anamorphic you want it. Like you can literally have it reverse anamorphic, or you have it like really wide. You can defocus it quite a bit, make it blurry so it's like in the background, or sharp if it's a foreground object. And then obviously, yeah, you can like change the color. So if you're doing it like on an engine, an engine or some other explosion, you can change it. You can colorize the results a little bit, and it'll add that orange tone in there. Aperture, you can decide how many aperture blades you want. This is not as big effect on this particular one, but if you go with, say, late afternoon here, yeah, you can go here, and if you add more aperture blades, it adds additional rays, and there's a actual pattern. So like, for example, most lenses are actually, if I go down here, most professional lenses are 9 aperture blades, like what I have, so they'll create an effect like that. If you're using a theoretical lens, like a cheap one, it's usually like 5, and then of course there's some that have 3 or 4 blades, and they have that unique sort of look depending on what camera you're doing. Now if you're just doing this in FSF, you can sort of make up whatever you want, and you can play around with angles and blah 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 blah. Then there's also a bunch of other controls here, etc. So that's sort of how I would do it myself, but again, it depends on the shot you want and what editing software you have. Most editing software has at least some kind of like lens flare effect, and you just basically play around with it, modifiers, etc. And yeah, you'd have it move across the screen as the shot continues. So there you go. And yeah, you can increase and decrease the intensity and whatnot, like global scaling. You can make it like really big, small, and you can even make it bigger than that too if you want to. So, it's whatever you want.